You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the August 5th meeting for the LaPorte County Parks and Recreation Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
LaPorte County Park Board meeting for today to order. Can we have a roll call?
Michelle? Present. Justine? Present. Jim?
Here.
Mike?
Here.
Ron?
Here.
Nick?
Here.
And Mary now? Here. All here.
Okay, why don't we stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance? Where's the flag?
It's out by the river over here.
Okay, it's out there, so we'll just face that way. Okay. Yeah, it's out there somewhere. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, approval of the minutes. Does anybody have any, or the agenda rather? Does anybody have anything to add to the agenda or any issues with the agenda? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the agenda as written?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Now the minutes from last meeting, any changes or corrections, additions, subtractions? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Public comment.
Yeah, you can just.
You can go ahead.
Stand up, state your name, and you let us, just tell us what you.
Yeah, so my name is Brandon Rosas Torres. Disc golfer. I play often in Creek Ridge. Actually, there's an app called UDisc. I became like the kind of, not owner of the course, but I kind of mess with the layout, make sure everything's accurate for everyone else that goes to play there. And we'd like to help with redesigning the course there. Right now it's a 9-hole course. The layout is a little on the older side, kind of using some methods that were way back in like 1980, 1990. So, we just want to bring the layout up to more of like current standards that you see at other courses in the area. It's also unique that it's a more wooded course, which we want to keep it that way. We don't really want to touch any trees if we can help it. A lot of the other courses in the area are more park style, a little more open. This would give us an option for like an intermediate to advanced layout for disc golfers to come and enjoy the course, enjoy the park. Hopefully we could get some tournaments and everything there. The idea that we do at other courses with some of the other clubs in the area, we help to maintain the course. They have like cleanup days on Earth Day, or like go through and like pull out invasive species and stuff. So we're always down to help with that and help maintain the course. But yeah, we would like to try to make it a 18-hole course there, and just kind of open it up for more disc golfers to come out and enjoy the park.
Brandon did make, a recommendation. We had a couple of board members come out and see some of it. I have some copies. Did I send that out to everybody a while back? It was, it's been a while, but if you haven't seen it, we'll talk about it here in a little bit, but you can pass some of those around and share if you would, because I think I only made like 4 copies. So.
Yeah, I think I have one as well.
That's for reference when we start talking about that. But,
yeah.
Thanks, Brandon, for coming and for your time.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, can I ask some questions?
Or it's on the agenda.
Yeah, we're going to, under new business, we're going to talk about that.
So if you want, we can talk about it later.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there an agenda I can follow?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks.
Okay. Financial reports. Does everybody get to see all the red in the financial reports?
Some of it is pink.
Okay.
Yeah, and red doesn't mean we're overspending. It just means we're out of money in those accounts.
Yeah.
Which is the majority of the accounts.
Yeah. At this time of the year, this is really nice to see those little pink and red areas.
Yeah. I mean, I would say we probably went through our money faster this year than we have in some of them.
Yeah.
But others, not so much. I mean, we you know, there's still money in some places where we need it. Propane and, some electric and stuff like that. But like electric will be running out here in the next month. And we'll just use our non-reverting funds to cover it like we always do. That's what we always do. I will pass around this. This is the expenditure report. You should have gotten that. But what I want to start doing is having at least the president, vice president initial that at the meetings, and then we'll put it in the file each time. But you should have all seen that. If you haven't, you want to glance through it. That's got each purchase.
If you want to, you can.
Each and every purchase that we've made.
Any place in particular you want us to?
I'm sorry.
Any place you want us to initial it then?
Just on the front page.
Front page.
I was gonna say some of the dates, obviously, they haven't even occurred yet, but they're dated as to the date the checks are gonna be cut from the county.
Okay.
So that's
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions about the financial report?
Didn't you email this at the beginning of the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah.
Any other questions about the financial report? Hearing none, can I have a motion to accept the financial report?
So moved.
Okay, and a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay, Jeremy, take it away.
One thing I wanted to mention was our phones at Red Mill. I know you guys, I probably don't email you every time the phones are down, but literally they are down
At least once a week.
at least once a week. Like yesterday they got hit by the mowing crew from the county, but a lot of times if we get a rain, it's just down. And luckily I have a contact that's a friend of mine on the maintenance crew from Frontier that I can call and say, we're down again, and he checks into it. A lot of times can fix it that day, but there are times where we're down for days at a time. We did get a new phone system. We had some issues with that, so we got it. Frontier got it pretty much working, and then our phone system went down. So those were hand-me-downs from when Red Mill was built. They were hand-me-downs to get Red Mill up and going. So so we finally got new phones. They seem to be working okay, but even today they were very crackly. So something was going on in Frontier's lines again. But I just wanted to let you know there's times, and you guys should all have my cell phone. If you don't, I'll give it to you. And if you have trouble getting a hold of us or something, call me or email us. We check, we're obviously at our computers a lot, especially Kathy, probably as much or more than me. But, email us and we'll answer that. Trying to figure out if there's some other system, if there's a satellite or a, online type thing, but Darlene, the IT department head, said she's afraid, like Starlink, they use Starlink somewhere, but with all the trees out there, she's afraid we won't have a good signal all the time. So, I was, at one point, I tried to see if Verizon, because we're on Verizon Internet, and it's a wireless thing, it's not a fiber. And it seems to work pretty good, but I don't know how that would work for phones, so bad weather and all that kind of stuff. So we're just trying to make do with what we have, and now that we have the new phone system, maybe it'll be a little better. We'll see. Basically, it's one of the longest runs in the county, so anytime there's a lot of pedestals that have damage or mice in them all the time, so it's hard for them to keep them up. And let's face it, landlines are not the future, right? So there's not a lot of money going into that.
Right,
a lot of money's going into fiber and things like that. But so anyway, just want to let you know about that.
Okay.
The master plan update for Rolling Prairie, you'll see on page 11. There's kind of a preliminary drawing of ideas there. And this is all preliminary. I had to add some more fishing nodes in there. I think I emailed a couple of you, at least the planning committee and the executive committee, of a few things that I suggested, like they didn't have any parking down going down to the boat launch, there was no parking there. And a little more parking up by the restroom there, and then just a couple of different things that I suggested as a preliminary idea. So look that over. Questions, if you have questions, email me. We can work with the consultant to add stuff in if we want. Or if some of you want to see that property that haven't seen it, just let me know. We'll check it out. One of the concerns I have about the way they have this drawn is that the majority of the parking is kind of far away from the picnic area, which we know that when you have a shelter that's far away from a parking lot, what do people do? They drive right up to the shelter because that's just what they're going to do. We're not there to stop them, so how's that? So that may be a deal where we may need to add some parking up there along 400 or over there by where it says event space. So and I'm not sure 100% what that event space quote is, but yeah. Otherwise, I mean, I think it's a pretty good preliminary drawing, but if you have other ideas and stuff like that some of you were at that meeting and heard what some of the people were saying. So if you have any ideas, let us know. It's still in the preliminary stages.
I have a question, of course, on the bird watch areas. So any other details on what?
It doesn't say that. I mean, I don't know that it'll go into detail on what that will be, whether that'll be like a blind or, somewhere to sit down and watch, or like the little trail that goes out to the main part of Hunt Lake, that they originally didn't have that in there. And I said, yeah, we need to put something out to there so that people can walk out to that and maybe sit and watch waterfowl and stuff like that. But other than that,
okay, thanks.
Don't know for sure. And then the boat launch too, we talked about that. We don't know for sure what we would want there, but one of the things I would say is that we would not want to have big boats. It's a small pond basically. My thought was limited to no motors, so
yes,
maybe a trolling motor only.
Yeah, or just or even just rowboats and kayaks and canoes.
It's very small.
But yeah, and there's not going to be a big space to turn around, and that kind of thing. So it's just, it will limit it to small craft somehow when we go to the study.
They just wouldn't be able to get their boats to that launch, though, because originally they would have had to haul from the parking up.
Yeah. So exactly. But that road that goes down is a gravel lane right now. You can drive all the way down right now. So yes, they added a little parking on that curve there. So we'll just have to kind of see as it gets developed what that would look like now. I think an ADA, handicap kayak launch, kind of like they have over at Stone Lake Beach, would be great. Things like that, and then obviously I want to see that trail going out to all these fishing nodes and the fishing piers being ADA would be a good thing too. So.
And the one that's where it says 88 parking, I hope there's not all 88 parking.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that they would make sure we would have some, a couple, one or two.
A couple of each.
Even that is tough up there. I think we would have to have ADA parking down at the ramp because this is a pretty big hill going down to the ramp. So, if the slope is too steep, then your ADA is not really ADA. You put an ADA parking spot up here, I get it, because you want them to be able to use that trail, but we would need ADA parking down there as well, at least maybe one spot for an ADA kayak or canoe person. So that's a good point. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Possible Nature Center addition update. I just wanted to say that they did approve $10,000 in our budget for design work to add on to the nature center on the corners and that kind of thing. So we'll look to do that as soon as the year turns. We'll try to find a fund and get that going as soon as the new year comes around. Reindeer event at Lure, we're doing that again this year. I don't remember if any of the board members came for that, but it was a really good event where we had a live reindeer here. And last year, the library took care of the funds for that event. This year, they don't have the funds. There's been cuts and stuff. So we were able to get donations from Antero Group and from Reeve Riley to cover that. And then the Friends of the Library is also helping out. So we've got that event covered now, and we're going to be good to go on that.
Is there a date set for that already? No, it's November, I think, right?
December.
Oh, December.
Yes, there is a date. It's December 5th in the evening. Park Foundation projects, I just wanted to give you kind of an update on what's going on with that. So at Lure here, we do have a contract for some invasive removal. Our staff is working on some decking for back here by the pond that is basically rotted and bad. And then we're also going to be putting lead trail, like a bridge to a new trail on the south 15 acres. So they're building those. They're actually sitting over there in the shop yard, and they will put them in place. They'll take a tractor, lift them, carry them back there, and set them in place. And they're basically a floating, we call them floating, but they're not going to be floating. We don't get that much water, but it's through a wet area. So they have these feet that you can buy that they fit right under there, and you can level them up and make the bridge level and out off of the ground so that water can be under it or whatever. And so they're not dug into the ground. They're not posts that we have to dig down into the ground. We did use these over at Bloom, and they worked really well in this wet, swampy area we have. And so we're going to be doing that as well. No disturbance to the soil. It's just go out there and set them on. So. And then we also did a prescribed burn here. The last meeting I had, I got them to approve a new golf cart for Creek Ridge County Park, and then also new siding and a roof for Novak Shelter at Creek Ridge County Park. Those two projects came to almost $30,000. They don't have a specific fund for Creek Ridge, but they have some money available that they decided they could go ahead and help us out at Creek Ridge as well. So, Bloom, I'm working on getting, after the meeting, if you want to look, we put, they're called under fence mow strips. They're plastic, long mow strips that are probably 18 inches wide. They fit right under the fence so that we don't have to weed eat or spray all along that fence all the time. Tried them out here, and I talked to Don today, and he said, yeah, I think it's worth doing. You still have to weed eat a little bit around them, but it's so fast because you're just going you're not having to go around that fence, and you're not beating your weed eater against that fence the whole way down. And it keeps us from spraying, keeps us, especially around the dog area. The dog goes and licks that spray out. We don't want to have that. So yeah. So
what's it made out of?
It's a HDPE plastic, basically. So it's a high density plastic, basically. They have a pretty good warranty on them. They're not gonna break down in 5 years, and supposedly not gonna be breaking up in just a couple of years. So that's what we're kind of looking at doing at several of the parks. And then the other things I had out at Bloom were trail signage for this DNR project. So when they reroute trails and we make new trails, I want to get a good trail marking system out there. So they approved $10,000 to do trail trail signage, and then I also asked them to be aware that we may have to ask them for some money for trail reroutes and planting, so out there. So that's what's going on with the foundation money.
At Bloom with the new expansion.
Yeah. So, and then, yeah, there's also an invasive project out there as well. Volunteers for Pioneer Days, we're always looking for volunteers for Pioneer Days, so if you guys, or there's no camera here today, we will be needing some volunteers for Pioneer Days.
What are the dates on that?
September, 4th weekend in September, the 27th and 28th. Could be anything from bagging popcorn to helping with the ham and beans or helping with crafts or whatever. And that's pretty much all I've got for my report.
Any questions on the maintenance construction report? I kind of like the format is just cleaner, it seems. But it kind of identifies things a little better. I don't know if it's just the change in font or the bold that identifies what they're doing, but especially for the program report. So very nice. Any questions on those or park counts?
I think Seabird Park.
Seabird.
Counter on that was.
Yeah, it seemed to be doing a little better this
Great.
time. And we also, one of the things we also are going to do on that one is instead of, so we have a formula that we use to figure out those part counts, and it's, you take your total count, divide it by 2 because they go in and out, so that gets you down to the one vehicle, and then you multiply that times 2.5 as an average number of people that might be coming into the park. So but Seabird, what we're seeing out there is it's always 1 or 2 people. So we dropped that one down to multiplying it times 1.5 instead of, because it was saying, you know, we had, like this month it said we had 800 people, and I was like, that's, you know, when you think about, that's quite a few, several a day, you know, more than we're probably getting a day. So we multiplied it by 1.5 and it got it back down to maybe 600 or something.
500.
So 20 people a day, that's a possibility, you know, and if you get a busy weekend day, there might be 10, 12, 14 cars that come out there with a person and a half in each one. So.
Okay.
Just trying to get that a little bit more accurate, I think.
Okay, any other questions about the counts or programs or maintenance? Hearing none, let's go to committee reports. Executive committee, we do not have a report. Budget committee?
Nothing to report.
Okay, personnel committee?
Nothing to report on that as well.
Okay, property committee. The future?
Take a look at the caretakers. And it is in bad shape.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah. So several of us went out there to take a peek and just kind of look the situation over. And if you have a mold allergy, don't go in for sure. The cost of renovating would be prohibitive to having a renter, and we are not in the. Our mission is not to be a landlord, so the options were just let it be, or demolish it, put a barn there for maintenance, so maintenance could have a central location for all their stuff. As it is right now, their maintenance building, they have a maintenance building next to the or adjacent or close to that house, but they have the other storage area is kind of in the middle, right outside from the EOC. So to have all of that moved up to the top of the hill where the house was, or near the house where the house was, would be highly advantageous. As it stands right now, the maintenance sheds do not have bathroom facilities. This would allow that to possibly happen because there's a well, there's a septic, there'd be electric that we would just convert over to the new building. Those things would need funding, so that's something if we decide to investigate that, that's the possibility.
So at this point, what I would, if the board agrees, and if anybody wants to see that house before we try to vote on something like this, we can all see it at the next meeting, or take the advice of whatever the board that were there today is, and if I can start exploring what it would cost us to tear it down. We know the cost of a barn is probably not in our cards right now, but the key would be getting that down and getting the area prepped. My suggestion or my thought would be that I would check with highway department, see if they can tear it down, put it in a dumpster for us like they did there was a really big farmhouse there that was part of the old mill, not part of it, but that was where people who ran the mill lived, and they came in and tore that down pretty quick order, and we got it hauled away by dumpsters and buried some of the wood stuff and concrete. That was it.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying they would do it or if they'd be able to do it. I'm just saying if I can start looking into that if the board desires.
And Jeremy has pictures of the house if anybody's interested. The lower level, the basement where the garage, go into the garage. I don't know that I'd let my dog stay there. It's had mold damage and water damage. It gets water when it's rained, so there's just a lot of issues there. So that's
new roof, new windows,
siding.
Repairs to the balcony and stuff. Yeah.
The siding, you can kind of take your finger and wiggle it off.
Yeah. We didn't sell it.
We could salvage that and take it to the scrapyard.
That is another option, right? But like I said, it sits right there with our maintenance building. So having a neighbor that we can't choose, that we can't make sure we're going to be not having some kind of conflicts with, it wouldn't sell for much.
No, I'm sorry. I meant more like way to sell that idea.
Yeah, way to sell the idea. Okay.
But I just want the board to know that that could be an option if we wanted to go that route.
Yeah.
But I think we'd be opening a can of worms there to sell off a corner of the piece of the park.
It'd be like having a house right out there.
Yeah.
And then you also lose the opportunity to put the barn, which is unnecessary.
Centralize your equipment and storage and maintenance facilities. And the other thing is the roof needs to be replaced.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Roof, windows.
Yeah.
Doesn't have central air.
Yeah. If anybody wants the pictures, I can send them to them, or if you want to, that'd be more than.
I move that the board encourage Jeremy to, check into options for
that property,
especially looking at raising it.
Yeah. Okay. Can I have a second to that motion? All in favor? Ayes have it. Jeremy, good luck. It won't be bad. It'll be pretty simple. So, okay. Planning committee, anything? No? Okay, rules committee? I haven't seen anything come down the pike.
No, it's in old business, the discussion of the committee duties.
Okay.
So if you've looked at, we move it on to business, I guess.
Do you want to go to discuss that in old business?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to old business and discuss our duties.
I think everybody got that except Michelle, because she wasn't here, and she's got that now. If you've looked at those and think that maybe that should be changed, we can change it. I don't really think we need to have a vote on that. I think those are just duties that are made and we send out to you or review yearly and that kind of thing. So
It's interesting, I've been on the board for a long time, and I didn't realize I'm supposed to call each one of you and ask how your positions are within the
Well, and that's,
committees.
again, that's,
So I didn't know that, I didn't have that.
Expecting the call.
You'll get the call, yeah. I'll probably send you a text.
we can go through those and change those. We don't need to, you know, that doesn't need to be something we have to vote on and, you know, that kind of thing. We can talk about it.
Talk about it, yeah, okay.
So, but everybody should have those now. Please look them over. You know, if you disagree with something, let's talk about it.
Okay, very good. No vote on that. New business, review the draft of the bicycle and pedestrian trail master plan.
Did everybody get an email on that from Mindy Smith?
Yes.
And were you able to get in there and look through it? And
Yep.
it's long. There's a lot to it. I have a few highlights, and what I thought we'd do is try to give a little more time for me to look over it again after they made some changes that I suggested, and then for you to look over it again. But some of the things I wanted to mention that I thought were really good about this plan is the way they didn't. I think it's a more realistic plan than most of your trails plans. Most trails plans you see have hundreds of miles of separated trail, and I mean, you're talking millions. The timer ran out, so but you know, so one of the things they did on here was they have, like, there's 317 miles of trails proposed, right? But 227 of those are paved shoulders. They're not those separated trails. So this would be, they're going to repave a road in the county. We need to be talking to the highway department to say, what's it going to take when you're repaving some of these roads to add a paved shoulder so that bicyclists can use those trails, or use that as a safer way to travel throughout the county.
Mm-hmm.
So that was 227 miles. Shared use paths were 79 miles. And then bike lanes and unmarked routes. The remaining 10 miles serve low volume roads. That's on the, so they have flagged ones as high priority, and then critical links, so to link one place to another. So there's some of that in there. They have, the paved shoulders were 227 miles, which is 72% of the plan. Probably the cheapest, one of the cheapest, options. And, so those are just, and then the shared use paths we have 79 miles, which is 25%. And those are the, separated trail on that one. And then the other is advisory shoulders, which are a 6-foot shoulder on the road as well. So that's another 10 miles, and that's 3% of the network. So
is that painted also for?
Yeah, with, if I remember right, it's like, so that's the ones you see with the dashed lines and then a bike symbol every so often, so people know that that's a bike
lane.
Versus the paved shoulders where they wouldn't have that.
Correct, it's just a 6-foot extra lane on maybe a little bit busier road but it would that people use as a bike lane already, that they could be off the road by 6 feet instead of being
right on the road,
or with a shoulder that's maybe 18 inches wide. So
right on the fault line. And
And that's what I really like about this plan, is that I feel like it's more realistic, taking into account that the funding's just not going to be there for separated trails everywhere. But working with highway, working with other entities that are doing things and saying, hey, how can we make this happen with grants or whatever. What I hope to do is by the next meeting, get through this again, make sure that I feel like I'm comfortable with it, because I found things in there like they had us as the administrator of a of a trail that was the city parks, and so some of them were mixed up, and, you know, and when you're a consulting firm that happens, you know, it says LaPorte Parks and Rec, and they think, oh, that's the county park. No, it's not ours. So I've got those things changed, and I'll go through it again though and make sure, print it off and mark it up again, and then get it right, and then come back and, but if you go through there again, look at sections that mean something to you, and, you know, if you have comments, please feel free to comment and go from there.
To take any action on this to show support of it, or
Say that again?
do we have to have any kind of action that we support?
Not today, but at the next meeting, I'll have Antero come to the next meeting and do a little presentation for you, like a PowerPoint, and explain what a little better what some of this stuff is, and then we can actually adopt that into our master plan and into our plan. So.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, the redesign of the park disc golf course.
So now I know you had a question or comment.
Yeah. So I was gonna, it sounds very exciting. I was happy to walk through it with you and other board members. So when you're talking about like events that you would have there, like how frequently, how many people do you think would attend those?
And some of the other courses that are at least size comparable as far as their 18 holes, there tends to be tournaments at various parks almost every weekend, but at that particular location, you could maybe see during the summer, like once a month possibly. Usually you say 4 people per hole, so 4 times 18 is normally around the max, but usually it's going to be anywhere from like 50 to 60-ish people that will go to tournaments. There could be our club or various other clubs. I know there's one out, in LaPorte, they play at Kessling quite a bit, and they have like a weekly league where they could have anywhere from like 15 to 25 people. And so that would open it up a little bit. Now, there's not really many clubs that do leagues at Creek Ridge right now. One, because there's no tee pads, the baskets are a little older, and just the layout isn't, the best that a lot of people want to go and play right now. But yeah, that's usually what you're looking at. If it was 18 with some tee pads, I definitely would see a lot more clubs asking and reaching out to, hold the tournaments there, hold their leagues there. As far as tournaments go, I know one thing that other parks boards and departments I've worked with, the liability insurance. A lot of tournaments are sanctioned so the club works with the Professional Disc Golf Association, and they will actually provide liability insurance for those events for players, volunteers, anyone involved with the event. Parks can be named along with on that insurance as well. I know a lot of the heads of many of the clubs around here, safety is always our first thing, and making sure things are smooth and everyone has a good time. That's the main goal. I hope that answers kind of your question there.
Yeah. So you're not going to have like 1,000 people kind of
No.
once a month or something.
Yeah.
And then I know we have some events like the Pioneer Days in late September. So I mean, you check our calendar and work with us on
right, exactly.
Too.
Yeah. Most, we always work with parks departments, and hey, when you guys doing things,
I think
weekends are open.
Pioneer Days, I don't think you could have.
No.
The course couldn't be used.
The draft courses may not like
That's competition.
Yeah.
Right. And that's something, we put on, there's other parks that will have events like Hawthorne Park in Porter, Indiana. They have events there, and we'll put up a sign, hey, course is closed today, or on the app we'll put a note like, hey, the course is closed, don't try to go play it today. Usually players too will look and see, they might show up and be like, oh man, there's something going on, all right, well, I'll go somewhere else. We're very flexible on those kind of things.
And you're able to communicate stuff like that in that app, you can flag.
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah. On the app, a lot of folks have Facebook pages that we can put stuff on too. So, a lot of communication methods.
Thank you.
I think we had several board members can't come and walk through at least a portion of that. A couple of us stayed for all of it, but any comments from those that came?
The proposed areas that would have to be cleared are mostly scrub, not old growth forest or anything like that. I didn't see a whole lot of trees that were massive that would have to be removed. I didn't see any that would have to be removed, but mostly just new growth. It looks
A lot of invasives in there too.
a lot of invasives for sure. So that would really remove a lot of the invasives right off the bat. So
also kind of opens up some fairways to actually be able to get in there a little easier too, if you needed to do any kind of invasive projects in the future.
yeah, definitely access would be much better with those lanes opened up. So
the main goal, when I'm looking at courses, I never want to touch anything that's old growth, anything that's, been there a while. And a lot of times it creates really interesting shot shapes and then fairways to actually play on. So, that was definitely something when I was looking at it, like I did not want to touch anything big. And again, I wanted to keep this a little bit more technical. It's not something that we see in other places. I was just during the meeting looking up like some of the stats on UDisc. And just in the past 4 weeks, there were players from California, Ontario, Tennessee, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, and that location right off of 94 draws a lot of people that they might look on the app and say, hey, there's a 9-hole course here.
oh, let's spend the night there.
Right. So, it does get traction because of the location, but I think kind of redesigning it and making it that 18 will pull in some more just, people passing through and things like that. Even locals might want to check it out more.
Okay.
It's been about 15 years since a hard look was given and changes were made, so we're due. Yeah.
Definitely. Upgrades and pads and tees.
And I think, what I think if the board decides what we could do is I could start looking for funding and looking for costs and then looking for funding. I mean, we don't have that money sitting around, so there's grants from Health Foundation, there's, other things we can find some money and maybe some in-kind help from some of the clubs and stuff as far as putting some of the stuff in and, maybe, we can start working together, get some pricing, come back and say, okay, here's a grant that might help us and here's kind of the cost of what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Would it require removing all of the existing hardware there? Would you want to remove all that, all new for all 18?
That'd be ideal. So in the ground is like a sleeve, it's like a concrete and then the pipe coming up and then the basket you slot into that. A lot of the design I did keeps a lot of those original locations, so that wouldn't need to be changed. Most baskets will fit, kind of size fits all, so it would just be the basket portion. Even if we kept the old baskets and got 9 new and then replaced them at some point, there's different things
I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
We're going to put it out there as new and I appreciate your pinching pennies. Kathy's over here going, I like this guy. But I think, if we're going to do this, I think we want to have it as new, and I think people want to, we're going to push it out there as redesigned, and they don't want to come and have it.
Right.
Yeah, we don't want Uncle Buck's disc golf course that's been expanded.
Half
so
of it being new and half of it.
no.
But
So we could have a motion to have Jeremy investigate advancing the 18-hole design disc golf course.
So moved.
Okay, can I have a second?
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay, last thing on the agenda is the decision on the easement for NIPSCO.
Yeah, so I sent this out quite a while ago. Finally got an answer back from our county attorney, and he said it looks fine. I did talk to, and I think I sent this email out to everybody as well. I met with the NIPSCO representative out here to ask him exactly what's going on. Like I can look at this and see about where it's going to be and that kind of thing. And I said, are you just replacing the transformer? Is it going to be a bigger transformer? And he said basically the footprint will be the same as what's there. But they then have the easement right to it, right? So I don't know that they had an easement currently. I guess they had to, but this is gonna pay us $500 or something minimal to, you know, to allow them to have the rights to do that on that property, and then they have that easement. I did check with DNR because there's an easement on this property for all of the property because we've gotten the Land and Water Conservation grants, and they said that was fine as well.
Okay.
So it's up to the board where to go from here, whether we want to accept that proposal as it is, or whether we see, I don't know what else.
Yeah. And bottom line is, if we say, no, we don't want them to have easement, they're going to do eminent domain and have easement, and then we won't get anything. So I would propose that we have a motion to allow NIPSCO to purchase an easement on our property as indicated in the information that we have here.
I'll make that motion.
Yeah, second.
Any comments?
Any comments? None. A second? Okay, Justin took a second. All in favor? All in favor? Ayes have it. Okay.
Okay, so I think there's a copy of that. I will need the president's signature on that.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, there is one on the back.
Wouldn't they have to have an easement?
Yeah, that's here.
Can you pass that back?
Access to it?
I think they have to, you know.
Yeah, I would assume that they already have an easement.
Right.
But it would, on that survey, it would probably have shown, here's the existing easement going to that parcel. I mean, that would be my guess.
Yeah.
I didn't have any of that information on it.
No, but if you look at the drawing, it's essentially a 20 by 20.
That goes back here.
20 feet by 20 feet.
You want to go for that if you pick it up?
Want me to sign this copy, Jeremy?
Yeah, just.
I mean, that's not a very detailed survey.
Well, it's not, but it's, when I walked it off from that property line, I had a wheel and I walked it up to that, it's basically, you know, it was 621 feet from the south property line to that, and it's right there where that little transformer is. So, it's kind of right out there by the flagpole, near the flagpole.
Okay.
So.
You know what their time frame is?
No, I don't. No, I know they were calling me about it, and I said, you're just gonna have to wait till the park board meeting. And I can't approve it. I can't sign it. I can't, you know, it's not for me to do. That's not in my realm there, so, yeah.
Is today the 5th all day?
Yes.
Wow. Time flies when you're having fun.
No, not all.
Not a month. It'd be nice.
Just one and done?
One time. Yeah.
Man, yeah.
So Jeremy, this needs to be notarized. Do I need to sign that as well?
It probably will. I'll have to go to Diane.
Okay. Can I sign it in front of, do I have to sign it in front of her, or can I just sign it and you can say, yeah, that's your signature?
Try it. Just go ahead and sign it, and we'll have, you know.
A lot of witnesses here.
Known to her.
Okay.
We'll ask her and.
And just call me, I'll be in town. So.
Okay. Yeah, and then there's a second page too. We'll just have to, we may have to meet up for it.
Okay.
Finish it off,
Well, if it works, great. If it doesn't work, call me.
Okay.
I'll be available Friday for sure. I'm working Wednesday and Thursday, but.
Okay.
Oh, we could probably adjourn the meeting, huh? Now, we have board and staff comments.
I'm just gonna mention, I'm gonna have to miss next meeting, so I'm sorry, I'm gonna miss that presentation too. I'm leaving, the very end of this month and then be back after a couple weeks. going to Alaska for my first time.
I'm going to Alaska for my first time. I leave on the 24th of this month, and I get back September 1st. So, yeah, enjoy.
I won't be at the next month's meeting either.
Right.
We're going to Yellowstone, not Alaska.
Let's.
So everybody else has to be here for the quorum, so I'm sure you'll have emails. So, okay, any other comments from board or staff? Hearing none, can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
In a second.
I said.
We have 2 seconds. Okay, all in favor? Ayes have it. Let's get together on September 2nd. Of those of you who will be in town.
That'll be at Red Mill at Smith Hall.
Okay.